What can you tell us about availability this week?
Everybody came through last week's game okay. Jibril comes back into the squad. He's the proud father of little Ismail. So really pleased for him and his wife. And he's trained really well this week.
You guys had a new addition since we last spoke to you. What can you tell us about Mr. Doumbia?
Yes, who will be known in the dressing room as either Sully or Doodoo. There's his nickname. So he's one that we've been looking at, obviously, and tracking. I've wanted a left back to come in. Tim's been playing there for us. We've been building up as a 3, but I felt that we wanted somebody who was going to be athletic, who can get up and down as well. When we decide not to play Tim there, he's come in and trained already so far. We're just obviously waiting on visa now. But we're really happy that that'll complete the squad until the window opens again.
So you're not looking at anything else?
No, I don't think so at the moment. I think we're done in the market now. I think the market closes soon anyway. And I feel that we've had a good window of picking good players up. And that's the last one. We've just got to get the visa sorted, hopefully for next week.
I was going to ask you, is the hope to have him for next week with Tim and Pat being out?
Yeah, that's the hope. Again, you can ask me the question next week about why we're playing a game during an international window, and I'll tell you I've no idea.
After further examination, do you feel like you got, based on what you were able to watch, were you satisfied with what you were able to create based on what you saw last week?
No, I wasn't satisfied with what we could create in terms of chances. Was I happy with our performance? It was our best performance this season, I think. At 11v11, we definitely go on and win the game. I felt that we were on top in the game. We would keep giving them problems. Balls over the top, balls down the side, balls played through them at times as well. We didn't work the goalkeeper enough, and it's one of them situations where I think if the goalkeeper probably doesn't get sent off, we probably go on and win the game. But saying that, if we don't concede the silly goal straight after half time, we probably win the game. I just felt that gave them something to cling on to. And watching the game back, and I said last week, I don't get too emotional after games. I try and think rationally, and I watched the game back, and they camped in their defensive third and made it really difficult for us.
Do you feel like Saturday or Sunday gave you a good example of what it's like to play against a low block, and maybe gives you an opportunity to examine ways you can better beat a low block, because most of the teams that you've played so far have played you very high?
Yeah, and a lot of the teams in this league play very high in general. But we have trained before, in terms of what to expect when we play against a low block, what to expect when we play against 10 men, and how we will play if we go down to 10 men as well. So, that was already worked upon, and still with the playing with the man advantage in that second half, we still had 2 best chances in the game. Patrick's header and where Idan goes through as well. So. It wasn't as if we had chances, we just didn't make the most of them and didn't make the goalkeeper work hard enough.
I know that he's somebody we've talked about a couple of weeks in a row, but how close is Idan to knocking on the door of somebody else's opportunity?
I think he's knocking on the door because he's made a difference when he comes on, and that's what I want from my, the finishers who come off the bench. I want them to, make a difference, give us more energy, match what we've just been doing, and up that tempo where they can. And he's certainly fitted that bill so far in every game he's come on in.
Is there a second or third player you've been impressed with among those who are not the 11?
They're all working extremely hard. They all want to try and grab a shirt, So, Jibril's been very unfortunate that he's not got into the team yet. Tiger had a really good pre-season. He's still a young lad. Yuri's come back from an injury as well. And like I said right from the start, we've still got Pep Biel and Wilf who still aren't up to speed, and it'll probably take them another 2 or 3 games to get fully up to speed.
Right, Steve and then Carol.
When do you get too emotional?
When do I get emotional? When I watch
seem pretty even keeled.
when I watch my children born, and I know I'm in no control of that whatsoever.
You were.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, listen. There's a time to get emotional. There'll be times where I feel that the lads will need to hear my voice after the game. I thought on Sunday it was the time where they needed to hear my backing for them. Because it's really easy sometimes just to see the results and gloss over the performance. It wasn't a bad performance. People can say what they want about the performance. I know what a bad performance looks like. A bad performance looked and felt like it was in Seattle, and that's why I let the players have a little bit of my emotion after the Seattle game.
Your emotion, so would you describe that as Wilf puts it, critique with some shouting?
Yeah, raised voice maybe sometimes.
Okay, so you do have one.
Yeah, exactly. And then you need to have one, but you don't need to have it all the time because it just becomes hot air. Otherwise, so I tend to pick my moments. Yeah, pick your moments, but pick the right moments as well. When they need it, then yeah, there's no problem with being a little bit emotional. But they certainly didn't need it on Sunday because I said to the players, don't be embarrassed by losing 1-0 against 10 men. Two of them players out there have won a World Cup. It's really easy to say, oh yeah, we can open them up. Again, I watched Aston Villa last night against Bruges. Bruges had a player sent off, and it took Villa 60 minutes, probably 20-25 minutes until they created a meaningful chance. And again, these are players. Ollie Watkins playing who cost 30 million for 30 million pounds. So. Yes, we critique ourselves. We know we could have done a little bit better, but it certainly wasn't a disaster.
With Zidane, it sounds like what you said before is he's earned all the minutes that he's gotten so far. But has some of that also been knowing that you might lose Patrick to international duty and things like that to get so that he's ready to deputise?
No, not really. I mean, he'd be ready to deputise if he had the minutes. If Patrick's scoring 3 goals, I'm probably not taking Patrick off and giving Idan the minutes. He hasn't, so Idan's come on and tried to give us something a little bit different, and that's the way I see it.
Will he have to leave the country for the visa thing?
I believe he will. Yeah, he'll have to leave the country.
That whole process.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Is it Sully or Sully?
Sully. I keep singing Neil Diamond, Suleiman to him, but.
Great album.
Yeah, very good.
With Wilf on the left wing, do you want a left back who can do a lot of overlapping?
Sometimes underlapping, or sometimes leaving in 1v1. As I said, I don't think Wilf's 100%. I don't think Pep's 100% yet, but that'll take minutes in training, game minutes as well. I spoke to John, our scientist, performance coach, and he looked at the numbers, and the numbers are getting better and better. So they're getting there, but that takes time as well when you've missed periods of pre-season, and you look at Wilf. He hasn't played a lot of football. He weren't playing at Lyon, and he'll start to get in the. I did try and temper the confidence after the goal in the game against Atlanta, and rightly so, because we'll probably expect too much too soon. But I have no doubts in my mind that he'll get over 12 goals this season.
With him or with the fans?
With everybody really. It's there's a fanfare that comes with a new DP coming into the club, and understandably so. And we're really happy to have Wilf here. But he's got to get used to his teammates, but he's also got to get up to speed as well.
So in terms of the left back though, I mean, Suleiman, do you see him being kind of like Nathan Byrne and how he's used, or, her skills? Yeah, no,
he's got a similar skill set to Nathan Byrne. Mm-hmm. He can get up and down, he's good on the ball, and it gives us another option, and that's what we've needed. We haven't had as many options as we would like there, and I think because of last season as well, the back four has picked itself a little bit at times, and again last week we didn't give very many chances away apart from the goal.
Would you be okay moving Ream from left back to center back, back and forth, or would you rather him be in one spot?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Tim's got the position at the moment. Sully's got to come in and prove that he can be better than Tim, but I'll also have to manage Tim. We obviously lose Tim for next week as well, so he won't be there, and then I've got to manage the likes of him, the likes of Westy as well, in terms of the match minutes that they get this year.
Okay. Gianni, did he fast for Ramadan? Has he had to do something?
Yeah, Gibril's fasting for Ramadan at the moment.
How do you handle that during practice? Is it the same?
Yeah, I mean, we're very respectful, of anybody's religion and beliefs, and as I've said, we'll help him every step of the way. He's quite used to doing it. He's done it in the last 5-6 years as a professional player, so he knows how to cope with it.
Okay, and Patrick, going to the men's national team camp, it sounds like Poch is letting him be himself. So when he goes, do you feel like he benefits from his time there when he comes back, or are there two different things he's working on, when he's gone?
I believe he benefited definitely from going in the January window. Went and scored 2 goals as well. Put himself, amongst the names there for the centre forwards that the national team can pick. I don't quite like him going next week because he takes him away from me. But somebody's had this brainwave of us having a fixture list during international windows, which I don't agree with. But it is what it is.
And Sargent is someone you know?
I know Sarge, I know Sarge well. He's just unfortunately he's had over the last 18 months a few injury problems. I think he's back in the squad though, and he's back scoring goals for Norwich at the moment as well.
If I could interject, how did Patrick improve? What did you think he brought back?
I thought he did just his confidence. He came back a more confident player, as you would do. You go and scored a couple of goals. It's not a case of him going to the international team and they fix you. Because his job is to just keep improving all the time. Our job is to keep working with him to make sure he improves and gets better.
All right, we're going to jump to Sam because I know you have a conflict, and then we'll come back.
Okay.
Hey, Coach. So I wanted to go deeper on Sargent. What now that Pat's going to be competing with him and White from the Whitecaps for minutes up top with the national team, what do you think Sargent brings that Pat doesn't, and vice versa?
Between the two of them, one plays in yellow, one plays in blue. They're different players. Sarge links it up really well. He'll run in behind. Patrick's attributes are, I think once there's grass for him to run into, he normally goes into it and finishes. I thought their lad got a really good recovery tackle on him last week when it went onto his left foot. But having worked with them both, they were both relatively young in their careers, both still learning the game. Sarge also played on the side as well, where I'd say Patrick's more down the middle, and Sarge will often come off to link up the game, probably more than Patrick would as well. But there's a lot of similarities and a few differences between the two of them.
I know your new player also observes halal. Is he also fasting for Ramadan?
Yeah, Jibril does, yes. Sorry, what was...
Suleiman.
Oh, yeah, Sully as well, yeah.
And how, I know when I talked to Jibril about it, he gave massive credit to Alicia. Do you coordinate with her as well, or does she just take the lead here?
No, we do. She takes the lead. To be honest, the MLS have been very helpful on this as well. They sent an information sheet through to all the clubs, and if a player is on Ramadan, then we let them know, and we can actually have a time break where they can actually get, if there's a time where it's time for them to get a drink or eat, then they allow that. So there's some good planning going from the MLS, but in our club, certainly Alicia is helping out with both Sully now and Jibril.
That's during the
And,
match.
Sorry?
That's during the match.
Yeah.
That can be during a match as well. Obviously, kicking off at 7:30 is a little bit different.
With the match on Sunday, I did want to go back and ask, with 13 corner kicks, have you brought that up in practice? Have you done more on set pieces, and do you think the team is where you want them to be?
The team's never where I want them to be. There's always something to improve on. Having 13 corners. To be fair, we had some good chances from a couple of the corners. We had one where it got headed across. I thought Patrick should have had a penalty on one of them as well, where there was a clear shirt pull. Adi Melanders headed one over the bar. I think we took a short corner and Patrick's headed one wide. So we've had opportunities, we just didn't quite take them. But we'd worked on doing short corners against Miami. They only send one out, and we felt that we could maximise Wolf and Pep by getting inside the penalty box on the ball. And with their trickery in the feet, could maybe draw a really good opportunity or a penalty even. So that was the plan going into it. Obviously, plans change when things happen in the game, and obviously they went down to 10 men.
And finally on Patrick, Mauricio said earlier this week that, basically he has all the talent, the rest is up to him. How much of that is up to Dean Smith in developing his talent?
I think there's going to be a lot of it down to me because I'm the one who works with him day in, day out. But a lot of that's going to be down to Patrick as well. It's his career. I'm here to facilitate for him, to help him develop, to help him fulfill his potential, along with the other coaches. But you can't drag a horse to water. They have to be led there and sometimes go themselves. Patrick's coachable. He wants to get better. So I think with all players, it's the full package about how they're going to develop. It'll be partly me. I don't think international coaches, unless they're having 6 or 7 weeks with their players, can develop the player too much because they have such a short time with them. But what they can do is certainly help their confidence and maybe give them some new ideas in terms of tactics.
Thank you so much, Coach. Best of luck against the fake Queen City.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. We'll go Anna and Bridget.
One last question about Patrick. He said something earlier this week when someone asked about how many numbers defenders are putting on him. He feels like there's a few more defenders on them than the previous years. How have you assessed kind of how he's handled that, and have you seen that for him?
I thought definitely against Atlanta there was a couple more on him. I mean, it probably felt like that last week because they were all, they were pitched around their penalty box. Yeah. So there was always bodies around him, and it was hard to get the ball into his feet in and around the penalty box. But in the first half, I saw more of what I want from Patrick. I mean, I think Pep put him through on the left-hand side, and he got the shot away, and the lads managed to get a sliding tackle for the corner. We had great opposite movement. I think he came short. Liao went long, and then he went long and got in. If he gets his cross away early, I think Liao probably gets a tap in. He probably just waited for the ball to come down a little bit longer. But he made some really good runs on Sunday. More of what I would expect him to, more than what he did in Seattle for sure.
Okay. And then back to BL, because you said a few times, he's maybe not 100%. So when he is 100%, what is he going to provide in that 10 role that he's not able to do right now?
I think you see with the penalty, he's picked the ball up in just around the halfway line, checked inside and put the ball in behind for Wilf to run onto. He can see passes like that. He's had a bit of a knee issue. You can see he's got taping around it. He's training at the moment still, but he's not 100%. He's still feeling it a little bit, but hopefully that will pass, because what he can do is open doors for us at times. It was difficult on Sunday for him because there were so many bodies that were congested. I felt we needed to move the ball around a little bit quicker and look to play in to play out rather than go outside too early. But he's one of them players I think can accept the ball under pressure, and that's what I want him to do for us.
Yeah, you touched on the ball movement. It's something I also noticed in the second half. Did you feel like it could be quicker? Like there were moments where they were checking their shoulders and it took maybe a few more seconds?
Yeah, I mean, the game slowed down. I mean, there was a unscheduled water break. I mean, it was late 80s in terms of, it was a hot one. It probably didn't come across as that, but it was a hot one for the players because they've not been used to that. Over the last few weeks, and it probably took a lot out of them. But we ended up being a little bit too slow going around them rather than going in, dragging them, and then going out.
Okay. And then last one, with that left back position, before you bring in Suleiman, was there something in particular or a certain attribute that you needed in that left back role in order to bring them to Charlotte?
I mean, I want somebody who's good 1v1 defending, because the way we'll play, they'll have to do some good 1v1 defending at times, similar to what Nathan Byrne does. But they've also got to have a good enough engine to get up and down the side. And one of the non-negotiables that we have with our profiling is that they've got to be good on the ball as well.
Thank you.
All right, we'll do last two, so Bridget and then.
Hi, Coach. How are you
Hi,
doing?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
I'm doing well, thank you. Is there anyone you've noticed in practice that's been impressing you that we haven't seen on the pitch yet that we may see in the future?
I think a few of the younger lads. I think Nikola Petkovic had a quiet pre-season, but the last week or two he started to take my eye again, which is really good. I thought Yuri was good when he came on the pitch. He unfortunately missed the last couple of weeks of pre-season as well, Tavares. He looks like he's matured a hell of a lot and can have a big part to play. I mentioned Tiger as well. So there's a number of players who are pushing for places at the moment.
How about Bender?
Ben's been in and out. He's trained well. It's been difficult for him because he went on loan last season. It didn't go as well as we would all like it to have. And we've obviously brought in Eric Williamson, who plays a similar position to him. So, he's got extra competition at the moment, but the way he trains, he's pushing himself into contention again.
And Sunday we saw Wilf and Tim speaking a little bit during the game. How is their chemistry together? How do you see it progressing? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, there's two senior players there who've amassed a number of games at a high level in the Premier League. So I expect them to be talking and, probably organising a few of the other players as well. So, yeah, their chemistry's coming on really well. They get each other, they talk a lot. And I said before, the transition of Tim coming in was really good, and the transition of Wilf coming in has been really good as well.
And what's the biggest thing that you practiced this week leading into this game?
A little bit of final third work today. We've done some stuff without the ball of what to expect against Cincy. They brought in a couple of new players, obviously. Denke, the centre forward. We know a bit about him. Very good hold-up play, makes decent runs. So we've looked at them, how we think they're going to play. I mean, they played Tigres on Tuesday in Mexico, so they've had a tough game there. They've got to travel back, so they'll probably have less chance to do as much work as we have on them. So that's the thing we should have over them this weekend.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Carol?
I just wondered if you heard any more on the targeting rule. Like, is this something that is in the books and we just didn't know about it, or
Maybe it was just a one game thing. I don't know.
You need to make a list of your questions about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go there. Yeah,
You don't have to do it publicly.
I didn't think the officiating was great last week. Yeah, I mean, the protection that I would expect for Wilf didn't get. I think there was at least 6 or 7 fouls given against him.
So it's less the rule than the equal distribution of its enforcement.
Yeah, I mean, if 6 or 7 fouls in a game against one person's not targeting, I actually don't know what is.
did you make that case?
Sorry?
Did you make that case?
I don't think there's really I put it in my refs report. That's down to the authorities to deal with that now.
But did you go back and look it up or anything after having that conversation with the official? Or
No, I didn't. But I listen. We get a disciplinary report, and the caution was for targeting opposition.
Particularly after the red card, we saw a lot of times where, and again, you saw a lot of this was a product of the way they were playing, but they would at times have like 3 guys on the side that Zaha was on. Is that something where you welcome that to try and switch the field of play, or is it something where you guys got to figure out ways to maybe get more guys around him to beat that? And I guess how do you, seeing that really for the first time, how have you kind of hypothesized how to beat that?
Yeah, no, I mean, Wolf sees things, so even if there's 3 players around him, he needs somebody to play off or offload it. He knows when to offload it, and we saw that in the first 5 minutes of the game, I think it was.
Sure.
They got out to him quick and doubled up, and he just played the ball in for Brant Bronico, who made 3 or 4 really good runs in behind them. And then, he skipped through 3 of them and put Pep Biel in, I think, after 3 or 4 minutes as well. So, he's a player that he's dealt with that a lot in his career, so he knows how to deal with that.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.